Dan, guten Tag. Ich heiße Joe.
Yes.
That's the only thing I know in German.
That's all you came back with?
That's it. All the German I learned was from Hogan's Heroes when I was a little boy growing up. It was it was like a sitcom, a TV show about
Yeah.
a POW camp, and I would pick up my German from that.
All I learned my German from was Indiana Jones.
Oh wow, yeah. Guten Tag.
Is that good day?
I think it means, yeah, I think it does.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Ich heiße Joe means there's a sale at JCPenney.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good that you came back with a little more knowledge than you left with.
I am getting used to this traveling thing. I am here to tell you, I think one of the cures of closed-mindedness and non-thinking and the like is travel. Man, it changes you for the good. It opens your eyes.
Really?
It's interesting to see. Yeah, it's like this other side of the world that's just going on and doing their own thing, and it's different. Some things,
Well,
things are different.
but that is, I think, one of the things with international travel. Like I don't know if
Sure.
state to state around here, some things kind of stay the same, or like when you go from Wisconsin to any other state, it kind of declines a little bit. So you do notice
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I would agree international travel is probably pretty cool.
I'm such a world traveler here. This is my second time out of the country, both of which, it's this firewood thing and this YouTube thing that's happened to me, which has put me in this position. And it's just like the old saying, when opportunity knocks, you open the door. I am saying that if you've never traveled outside of the country, yeah, it's intimidating. It is. It helps that we speak a language that's taught in just about every other country now. So you can seem that you can always run into someone that can speak English, and the signage at the airports, which can be a cause of stress. I'm here to tell you, there's English signs, so that really helps you out. And it's just been a great opportunity. I went to Finland 2 years ago. I went to Germany this year. It was personally for me a very important trip, but also professionally, for the firewood, being able to help out my good friend Lowry from TP Silva, he took this big promotion. He was with Yappa, and now he's taken a promotion with the company, like the parent company.
The big one.
That owns Yappa. I was calling him the big cheese. He had never heard that expression before. I said, in the States, we like the head honcho, we call him the big cheese. So he was jokingly referring to himself as the big cheese.
So give us a little recap here of the whole, what it was, where you went, and what kind of time you had.
I was in Germany for a week, from Thursday to Thursday. And I landed in Berlin. We spent a couple days in Berlin because we had other people that were flying in. And then we toured the country from there. We must have driven, 2,000 metric
Kilometers.
miles. Yeah, whatever they use over there. It doesn't make any sense to this guy, I'm here to tell you. We drove all over the place. I mean, we went way down towards Munich, which is in the southern part of the country. We were in Nuremberg. We were in a bunch of small towns. The firewood thing over there is pretty much like what you have here in the States. I guess there are an occasional firewood producer in and around a city, but the majority of them are way out in the country.
Yeah, out in the countryside.
Where the wood's cheap. And so we visited a lot of those. And, in between, we stayed in some very historic places, some of these towns that I just thought these things don't exist except in movies. Like these these town squares with cobblestones and these 15th, 16th century
Oh,
churches,
yeah. Yep.
and then like these gingerbread looking kind of houses. I don't know what that styling's called, Tudor styling or something. They actually exist. I was in a castle.
Oh,
Yeah, like Mario Brothers, like this big castle. I was looking for Miss Peach.
wow.
Yeah, it is just amazing. So the country there, when you talk old means old, man. There are Roman ruins from the days of the Roman Empire that I saw, and buildings that are 500 years old. These castles and the
Jeez.
walls around them from the
Ooh.
1500s, and yeah, that's old, man.
Yeah. Holy moly's.
Yeah,
And the
but that
firewood scene is big in Germany?
I
Is there a lot
got
of
the
firewood?
sense. Yeah, I got the sense it was, especially away, just like here, away from the city. I saw just about every
Hmm.
house had firewood.
Wow.
Yeah, and some of the producers that I was at, the one was they made a lot of firewood, man, a lot. There'll be an upcoming video on that one, and this is I had the same phenomenon after I got back from Finland too. It's like when you're there, you're just overwhelmed, and I have like this plan in my head, but when I got over there, it just kind of went out the window. And I was just scrambling to get something filmed. And then, when I say like everyone in Germany can speak English, that's like everyone in the city to some degree. But the farther you get out into the country, yeah, we were at some places where we couldn't communicate at all. We had to work through, like Lowry is fluent in German, I mean. So, we had to go through an interpreter. The farther out into the country you get. I guess that
Yeah.
shouldn't come as any surprise, though.
Probably not. No. So was
Yeah,
that like a that didn't really create any barriers though because you had Lowry with you to kind of interpret it and
yeah.
let you know
We
what was
had
going on.
the other person from TP Silva who was with us was Vile. He is the head engineer. He's the man who owns the patent to the perfect split system. He was there, so he's somewhat good with German. So it would be spoken in German, translated into Finnish, and then the Finnish would be translated into English. that was that was how it went. So I'm sure something along the way would get lost in
Lost in
translation.
yeah, lost in translation. They probably were saying things about you that you didn't actually end up hearing, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, my same rules that I have here apply in foreign language countries. You can say anything you want about me; it's none of my business. Yeah, whatever anyone says about me is probably true. So,
Right. There
who
you
am I
go.
to complain? Yeah, yeah. But Dan, this was organized by TP Silva. So, how like here in the States, a company will be called like, Dan's Inc., or Dan's LLC, something like that.
Yes.
So in Finland, their term for limited or corporation or company is the OY, OY. So the company, when you hear they say TP Silva OY, means the TP Silva Corporation. They are the parent company that owns the three major brands in Finland: the Japa, the Hacky Pilkki, and the Palax firewood processors. And they own a number of factories. Some are also built in the same factory, and some are not. But the tour that we were on, we were visiting the bigger production yards that use the TP Silva machines.
Okay.
And then along the way, TP, Silva, Yappa, the three of them really are, they're innovators. They are pushing the envelope. There's a good cliche for you. And they are creating new and exciting different style of processors. They're just not putting different color paint on a machine and calling it different. They're testing these ideas and they're putting them out in the field, and they have them out in Germany. I don't know if it's, there might be just some business relationships with these companies, or they are at a volume that they're comfortable with to really put these things through a torture test. But I saw two of their experimental machines,
Oh,
and yeah, and I was sworn to secrecy. I wasn't allowed to film them. Okay, and when I wanted to. I don't know if I'll ever be getting one because they're kind of like a European thing, but they're there. They were right in front of me, and I was looking at them. And the one I noticed, I stood there and stared at it for a really long time.
ooh,
Yeah, it was like I just forgot about everything else. It was really cool, and I just stood there and I stared at it. And will that one ever make it to the States? Boy, I sure hope it does.
really? Wow.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it was cool. It was different. It was just something to look at, man.
Is the firewood market there similar to, like, I've seen some content and videos and creators from like the UK where like a lot of the firewood is shorter, like
Yeah.
10 to 12 inch. Is that kind of the standard in Germany as well?
Yeah, it seems to be. I would just go ahead and call it 12 inches, like 1 foot long. And there is this other style of firewood, and I never really was able to get into it because the yards that we were at didn't make it. But it seems like it's super labor intensive, and I don't know why they do it, if it's just like tradition or something. But they will, and they had log splitters, like a vertical splitter like the Axis, but it would split a log that was they called it 1 meter, so a little bit more than 3 feet, like
Yeah.
4 feet long. And they split it out like that into smaller splits, and then they stack them like that. In my video coming up, you can see some of them at this yard that I was at, but I forgot to mention them. But they store them like that. Well, then they eventually run them through another machine that cuts them into 12-inch pieces. And I had done a short on one of those machines, and there's a bunch of them out there. It just seems like a real labor intensive, convoluted way to make firewood, but there is a lot. When we were driving through the countryside, almost every house that I saw that had firewood had it like that. These 1 meter long sticks.
Yes, like sticks. And
Yeah.
then so then they take those and chop them down into smaller
Yes.
sections when they're ready to
Uh-huh.
use them.
Right.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. But the machines that Yappa, Hacky Pilky, Pollux make, they don't deal with that kind of stuff.
They don't deal with that, no.
No,
Huh.
they're making the traditional firewood, through a traditional processor.
Yep. Cut it to length, split it.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
out the outfeed.
Out the conveyor.
Yeah, the yards that I were at were all high volume, so no one really made, the style of wood that I make, what I call value added firewood. The one place, my gosh, they just must make a killing. I'm just saying that because of all the machines that they had. They had these mini excavators that were on wheels or tires instead of track, and they just zipped around the yard. They had a crane on it, like a grapple, and they would just move logs around and put them on the live decks. They had multiple processors. But that was the one I was at. Half the processors I wasn't allowed to film.
And you probably don't want to break those rules in
No,
Germany.
I wanted to play along because TP, Silva, Yappa has been very good to me. And, if I'll honor their wishes. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that I will expect the day will come though that I'll be able to say, see, this is it.
That's
This
the
is
one.
what I was talking about.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Big wood, but like the species that I saw over there, I saw a lot of beech and oak and some maple. But the one yard I was at had a bunch of softwood, a
Hmm.
bunch. Yeah,
Wow.
but it looked like beech was the popular species over there.
Did the
Yeah.
oak smell the same as
Oh,
your
come on.
oak?
Of course it does.
So what about aside from the firewood? What about like some of the I guess sites and things of Germany? Like did you eat anywhere? Did you have anything exotic like German food? Did you drink some German
Yeah.
beer?
Yeah. I'm not a big drinker, but you know, I tried. Whatever. So I will be critical of Germany in one area. And I was the same way in Finland. I don't get the food. It was, I don't know. I was craving salt and fat and grease while I was over there, you know. But I also noticed too that everyone in Europe seems to be thin.
Yeah.
And then, I had thought when I was in Finland, I'm telling you right now, I was the heaviest person that I saw in Finland. And I was feeling that way while I was in Germany until I went in to one of those. We were at the big trade show, and they have those big trailers that are like portable bathrooms. I felt that way until I saw this guy come out of the bathroom, and then he, was, he made about four of me. Yeah, but everyone over in Germany's thin, you know, and I don't know. It's the food, I guess. They don't have a lot of processed foods, and the portions are much smaller. The the food, it was almost like every meal was like Thanksgiving dinner. It was like a slab of meat with gravy on it and mashed potatoes and a spoonful of sauerkraut, you know. It was pretty bland.
Sauerkraut.
It was yeah, I was craving just a greasy hamburger with about 10 pounds of ketchup.
Yeah,
I
or
was
some
just the
brats.
first thing I wanted when I got home was chicken wings. You know, I they had Dr Pepper there, but it tasted different because they don't use the high fructose corn syrup over there.
Oh my.
Yeah, we here in the States we like to retain the rights to clog our arteries. Yeah,
Yeah.
putting all this stuff into our body. The other thing that I'm going to be critical about, but it's funny that it seems to be just part of their culture, and that's just what defines them, is coffee. I was just desperate for my big 24-ounce styrofoam cup of black coffee, you know, from the gas station. And to them, coffee is like a thimbleful. Yeah,
Just little
I had a
little cups.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I just was just craving my coffee. They're into their espresso, you know, and
Oh yeah. Yep.
I had a Keurig in my hotel room, and I had these little Dixie cups. I mean, just little thimbleful, and it was like an espresso machine. And I was like, this isn't coffee, you know.
So there's no
I got to have my
Starbucks,
coffee. Oh yeah, I mean, there's just there's all kinds of coffee shops all over the place, but they
but
don't sell the coffee as what I understand coffee
oh,
to be.
yep. Okay.
Yeah. Uh huh. The other thing that really stuck out in my head was you have to pay to go to the bathroom in Germany. Um, I
Wait,
thought,
what?
yeah, I thought Lowry was kidding me, but you got to have a dollar to. Well, this is on the autobahn, but then I saw some other restrooms, in town. It'd be like at the gas station, like these service plazas off the highway. You had to pay a dollar. They had turnstiles to get into the bathroom, and then you get a coupon that you can use to buy product when you get out. Yeah. So I guess if you're poor, I guess that you're too poor to pee. Might be an expression in Germany. I don't know.
And what about? Did you make it out on the autobahn? Did you do any high speed traveling?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Oh,
So the autobahn is just the highway, like our interstate highway system. And there are speed limits, and I guess they're very strictly enforced. But the majority, they're 3-lane highways, and the semis will stay in the far right lane. The normal drivers will stay in the middle lane, and the people with unlimited speed limits are in the left lane. And there are very wide discrepancies in speed. Like if you're driving, if you're driving fast, you will blow by someone in the middle lane like they're just sitting still. Like we were driving pretty fast, and like I still remember this Porsche passed us in the left lane like he was probably going 500 miles an hour. you know? Yeah.
Wow.
Everything's in kilometers, so I had to have my Google, thing out. I was typing in, like I will tell everyone I am not a good passenger in a car. My wife, my daughters will tell you that. I just am uneasy, and it was very difficult for me to sit in the passenger. I never drove. I was always in the passenger side in a car going that fast, and to the credit of my Finnish companions, they knew it. So they were regulating their speed.
They were dropping it down from what it would have been.
Yeah, like 200 kilometers an hour, I think that's like 130 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And I think what our usual cruising speed was around 100. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's flying. It is.
Jeez.
And then what I noticed is the people in Germany, all of the drivers, and I'm sure there's jerks out there too, but they all seem to work together. And you didn't, like different here in the States where it's like everyone's out for themselves here. I never saw anyone in the left lane holding up traffic.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I didn't see any road raging. And they seem to have a much higher tolerance of, like people cutting you off or like zipping in, if you're in traffic in the right hand lane and you're trying to get in, you just muscle your way in. There's no like horn honking or fist shaking or anything like that. It's like the
No
people there
birds
aren't as,
flying. No one's flipping
yeah,
the
the people
bird.
there aren't as delicate as some of our drivers are here in the
Yeah.
States. Yeah. But I I guess it is a big no-no to, if someone is holding you up in the left lane, I guess it's a major, major no-no to pass them on the right.
Huh.
Yeah. I know when I drive to pick up my daughter out east, on Interstate 80, I probably pass about 20 cars in the right lane. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're just
People
driving in
don't
the
know
left
what
lane.
lane they're in, right? They're
Yeah,
just driving along.
if you're not passing, get in the right lane.
Get
It's that
over.
simple. Yeah.
Right.
But the driving was interesting. The other thing I noticed, I didn't see any beaters, any junk cars while I was there. Like all the cars, I don't know if there's like strict rules, I didn't see any rusted out cars, but I did see a lot of cars pulling campers. And I mean like smaller cars. I saw a Tesla pulling a camper. It
What are
was
they
weird.
call them something different though over there? Not campers. They're called what
I
is
don't
it?
know.
I can't think of it now.
You got me.
It's something that they
Yeah.
refer to them as, but now I can't think of it. Dang
I
it.
saw a few Chevy vans, full size Chevy vans. I saw one big Chevy truck. But everything else, I saw an occasional like those Ford Transit vans were popular and the Ford Focus, but everything else was foreign cars.
What do
Foreign
the
foreign to us.
yeah? What do the firewood suppliers deliver their firewood in, or how
They
do they?
have this one place had these dump trailers, and they're just kind of like different looking, and they have cages on them, and they have these funny looking trucks.
Funny looking trucks for firewood.
Yeah, I didn't see like a nothing comparable to an F-150 there.
Yeah.
Everything was different, and their semis are different. All their semis are cab overs.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do Do they deliver like just loose, or is it like in the bags or the totes? Or because I think bags are kind of big over there, aren't they?
Yeah, everything I saw though was loose.
Just loose. Okay.
Yeah, but there are packaged firewood. But I didn't see it. Like I said, the places I was at were big, big producers.
So they weren't making bundles or any of that stuff.
I didn't see it.
Yep.
I did not. I did not see it. Um, the yards that I were at, they were all on pavement. And the one that's going to come, what will this episode be on this Thursday? So or Wednesday, my
Yes.
video on today, I was at one, and it was spotless. It was like they must spend more time sweeping up than they do making firewood. It was nice to see, because a lot of the yards that I see are just train wrecks, with just stuff everywhere and anywhere, and just piles of scrap and stuff, kind of like my place.
I was going to say, did you take any notes?
Well, the one that they were just superior with their waste. He was the one he didn't speak a lick of English. And that would be the guy I was wanting to talk with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The firewood, the shortness I think is the first thing that you notice. But I didn't get to see the stoves and houses though, because I'm just assuming their stoves are smaller.
Right. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. More than likely.
On burning the shorter wood like that.
Yep.
Yeah. It looked just like Ohio too. I'll say that. The geography, it's all trees and grass. And there are times when you're on the highway, even though like the guardrails kind of look different, you'd think you're in Ohio.
Huh.
Yeah. So we're in Ohio where I live. We're out on the 40th parallel latitude, and I think Germany's like on the 60th, I think. Yeah. So it's farther north.
Yep.
It's farther north here.
Yeah.
But then in between, there's just all kinds of history. I mean, what the heck? A country that old. And there's everything and anything. If you're into art or the medieval or the Renaissance or, World War I, World War II.
Yeah, your last video was pretty interesting with those bunkers from, that one wood yard that was kind of like built into the bunkers, had bunkers for their storing their wood in and their mulch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a decommissioned NATO base.
Yeah.
Because after World War II, the Russians separated East and West. So this was a NATO base on the border between the old East and West. And that it was stocked with Patriot missiles.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was in Berlin, we were at Checkpoint Charlie. I saw parts of the old wall. Saw a lot of World War II history, and that's my thing. And there was a number of things that I wanted to see, which I was able to do all that. And then in Nuremberg, we didn't get to Munich. My hope is to be able to get there one day too.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And sounds like it was a heck of a trip.
Yeah, it was. I had said at the beginning of this is that this traveling changes you, for the better. And on my way back, I kind of felt like I needed to improve. I needed to do better in making firewood. And seeing some of these yards on how orderly they were. I'm hard on myself. I think my yard looks pretty good. Stacking wood does that. But I found myself when I first got back, I was over there picking up stuff and cleaning up my rows and all. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, I've always been wanting to mention that to you. Tidying up your yard, but I guess this I guess this trip now you finally have seen the light.
Yeah. My old yard, I admitted though was a train wreck, but that was just the situation I was in. You know, when we were moving, I had just there was one thing I had to go, and that was cleaning up. But my new yard, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
But
Well,
what I
now that
saw is I wanna do better.
yeah, now that you're, waving the banner of the International Firewood Expo grounds, you're going to have
There
to
you
live
go.
up to those international standards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was in International Firewood Expo mode while I was over there, as developing some relationships with some
Oh,
key people.
wow.
And will they be able to come here next May? Remains to be seen. But it was a good start.
Watch this space.
Uh huh.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. There was the people I was with, they follow my channel. They follow all of ours. They know who you are. And when I was at this big trade show, I haven't put that video out yet, but there were people there who knew who I was.
Nice.
I was getting selfies and handshakes. Yeah. But that trade show I was at it makes the Paul Bunyan show look like Mickey Mouse.
What?
Yeah, I'm serious. It
Oh
is
my
just
goodness.
at a scale that you cannot believe until you were there.
Holy
Uh,
moly. We might have to
yeah,
bring
it
that.
is.
We might have to revisit this now.
Yeah, it is on a
Talk
mount.
about it.
It was like Finland was the same way though. It is. It's just out through the wilderness for miles. I think they said that there was 6 kilometers of trails of the roads that you walk to see all the machines.
And how many days was it? How many days long was this?
I think it was 3. It's weird days. It was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Huh.
Yeah. And I will put up a video on Sunday where I tried to show the scale of it. And I was standing next to like some displays of firewood processors, and way off in the distance, as where you had to like zoom in with the camera or squint with or wear binoculars, was the parking lot. And I think that will get, it'll make clear just how big this thing was.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm serious. It made the Paul Bunyan show look like my show last year.
So both in the size of it and just the amount of exhibitors and
Yep.
machinery on display, everything.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
All right.
It was like every manufacturer had their entire fleet there.
Jeez.
You've heard me talk about Posh. I've never seen one
Yes.
in person. That Posh Pack Fix. I was there. I saw the Posh Pack Fix, but I'm here to tell you, Posh makes probably 700 different types of firewood machines. And they were all there. I've never seen so much green and orange paint in my life.
Well, yeah, we might have to revisit that and talk about that trade show here on another episode.
Yeah.
That's something kind of interesting.
Well, I'm sure I haven't even looked at my video footage of it yet, and I'm sure I did a lousy job of it. And of course, we had perfect weather the entire week until the day of the show, and it poured rain the entire time we were there.
Oh no! So it was a firewood frenzy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's because you texted me while I was there, and that brought all the rain.
Yes, I sent it over.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, that was sounded like a heck of a time over in the great land of Germany. International traveler here on the Woodhounds podcast.
I'm here to tell you guys, Germany is just beautiful. The cities, the people, very friendly. The restaurants, the everything is just. I just felt at home while I was there. What a beautiful place. I just hope that if you ever get a chance to travel, that you go there. Just for the historical elements of it, alone.
Yep.
What a beautiful country it is.
Well, I'm kind of getting the urge to go have a brat and a beer now and some sauerkraut after this episode. So.
Yeah.
I'm ready to head out of here.
And pig knuckle. That was the other dish that I saw.
Oh,
I
that
passed.
does
I
not
passed
sound
on the
good.
pig knuckle.
Ugh, that does not sound appetizing at
No,
all.
looked like you had to put too much energy into eating it. So I
Gross.
passed. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in and making the Woodhounds the #1 firewood podcast in the world.
All except one thing, Dan. You forgot to do one thing.
What's that?
You forgot to strike up the band.
Oh, all right. Band is struck.
Uh-huh. And then how about maybe let's think about maybe next week we can talk about the big trade show, all of the professional machines for the firewood professionals and the hobbyists.
Oh, there we go. We got that in too. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for helping make the Woodhounds podcast the #1 firewood podcast in the world. And
you
Dan,
can find us on all major streaming services.
Yeah, you can. All right. Well, Dan, before I say Auf Wiedersehen, how about let me just say this. Stay
safe
and be
Guten Nacht.
and now have
a great day.